control possession.
Manchester City going again back to Diaz on the halfway line as Rodri looks to his left. Nico O'Reilly is there. It's again Doku running at the Real Madrid defenders, but they're doing their best now, Real Madrid, to double up on Doku. Trent Alexander-Arnold is getting support, whether it's from Valverde or from Brahim Diaz, but they win a free kick 10 yards inside the Real Madrid half on the left.
And the youngster Pitarch as well, he's dropping in, and they're doubling up. They've thwarted that threat that Manchester City had earlier on in the game.
Going to get another update on PSG Chelsea in a moment, but they have this free kick. As I say, it's nearer the halfway line, right out on the left-hand side. Bernardo Silva's going to take it. Doku's in a position, he's virtually got his heels on the white line, 20 yards away from Bernardo Silva, but I don't think he's going to use that option because Valverde stayed with him. I think Bernardo Silva is going to deliver this into the edge of the penalty area. Less than 10 minutes to go to half-time. City could do with a goal back before then. Bernardo Silva, here's the ball, then played in towards the penalty spot, stretching, header away, only out to Savinho. Semenyo's over there as well. Semenyo, 3 Real Madrid players on him, Savinho and Semenyo together, but he couldn't find his teammate, and Real Madrid will pass it forward for Vinicius, who goes for a roll, but actually in doing that loses possession. Then Savinho with a 50-50 comes out with the ball, but then passes it straight to Rudiger.
Yeah, they're struggling at the moment, Manchester City. Real Madrid have obviously been lifted by the 2 goals that they've got. The rotation, the turnover of possession from a Manchester City point of view isn't what they would want. They're pressing high. They've just put the pressure on the Real Madrid defenders there. They've won a throw-in over on the far side in the offensive third. But at the moment, Manchester City, they're just looking for something.
First time there's been 6 clubs from any country in the round of 16 in the Champions League, but it's actually turning into a real mixed bag of results for the English clubs over the course of these 2 nights. Manchester City 2-0 down. Going to get an update on Chelsea in a moment. That's a lovely ball from Rodri, just lifted it over the top into the area for Bernardo Silva to run onto, and Rudiger and Valverde had to come across and deal with that and put it behind for a corner.
Yeah, it's Bernardo Silva. He's the one that's trying to make things happen. Rodri that time lifts the ball over the back four of Real Madrid. Bernardo Silva gets himself in a decent position, wins a corner. He's trying to make something happen.
Manchester City winning here in the league phase in December. Only the 2nd time that they have won in this stadium, and came in here with confidence, probably partly from that, but 2-0 down. Bernardo Silva with the corner, which is to the edge of the 6-yard box, and it bounced all the way through for Semenyo. He looks to cross from the right, but that is charged down at source by Mendy. It's another corner from the right-hand side this time.
Yeah, they're going to have to find something, Manchester City, whether it be a set play or just through sheer persistence. But their early start to the game, they've actually adapted, Real Madrid, like you say. They've closed that left channel up, and they've made it difficult for Manchester City.
Yes, so Bernardo Silva trots all the way across there and prepares to take this from the far side. So it'll be the left-footed in-swinger. Just over 5 minutes to go to the break, and Real Madrid 2-0 up. Raises both arms now, and Diaz is tangling with Rudiger. That's a heavyweight contest. Bernardo Silva then into the near post, but Valverde was there to head it away, and actually the referee, I think, has blown for an infringement in the box, and it's a free kick to Real Madrid inside their own penalty area.
Just watching Pep Guardiola down beneath us in that big technical area, hands in his pocket, he's got his suit jacket on tonight, wandering back towards the dugout to talk to his assistants and his coaching staff, looking for some kind of an answer, some kind of way back into this game.
So 2-0 to Real Madrid here in the Spanish capital. Chris Coles is watching across PSG Chelsea, and Chris,
another Paris Saint-Germain goal. They lead Chelsea 2-1. Ousmane Dembele, the Ballon d'Or winner, with the second just after Cole Palmer had seen a shot brilliantly saved by Safonov. Dembele races up the other end, all his own work, in on his right foot, back on his left, back on his right, into the corner. Paris Saint-Germain 2, Chelsea 1.
Yes, the current Ballon d'Or holder after his brilliant season last season. And remember how PSG in the knockout stages last season went right through the English clubs, didn't they? And there's a little bit of a score to settle, remember, as well, with PSG and Chelsea having played each other in the final of the FIFA Club World Cup in the United States last year, and Chelsea winning handsomely. But 2-1 to PSG tonight.
Yeah, they won that game 3-0, didn't they? I think when you look at where they are at the moment, Chelsea, it was always going to be a difficult ask for them. PSG, they're not the same team as they were last year in the Champions League.
Half-time now at the Hawthorns. Adam Cottier.
West Brom 1, Southampton 0. Only a win will get West Brom out of the relegation places. There was elation when the goal went in, scored by Jason Malumbi from close range after fine aerial work from Daryl Dike. West Brom leading Southampton 1-0.
Manchester City on the attack. Trent Alexander-Arnold actually gave the ball away, and a lovely little move, but in the end Doku with a poor ball into the area too close to Courtois, and now Vinicius beats Husanov. He's up against Diaz, still Vinicius, clips it back to the edge of the penalty area. Pitach then moves it out to the right hand side. It is Pitach in possession. Pitach, little ball to Brahim Diaz with a chip. This has to be cleared, it's not. Oh, Valverde's all the way through and scores a hat-trick in the first half against Manchester City. It's the Valverde show. This wasn't supposed to happen to Pep Guardiola in Manchester City. They're 3-0 down and it's all Valverde.
Oh, he's a special player. He really is a special player, is the Uruguayan. That's another super finish. Excellent play from Real Madrid on the counter-attack. Vinicius Junior down the left-hand side with his pace and power, getting behind the Manchester City defence. The ball's moved, the ball's rotated around the edge of the 18-yard box. It's lifted over the top from Diaz. And Valverde, he's still got so much to do. His first touch with his right boot lifts it over Gay. And then with his right foot again on the volley, past Donnarumma. We're seeing a special player tonight. That's a great hat-trick, it really is.
I have to say, at the time of the scoring of the goal, I wondered if Mark Gay could have done better there, but he was just beaten to it by the quick touch of Valverde. Gay came across, meaning to clear it away, but Valverde just got in with a little touch of the ball that took it past Gay and then dropped perfectly for him to drive it in with his right foot past Donnarumma.
He has a little bit of a look there, Valverde, with his first touch, but his first touch is perfection with his right boot. And as you say, it looks like Gay's going to clear the ball. But Valverde's first touch is delicate, it's dainty. He lifts it over Gay's head and it lands perfectly into his path to volley it past Donnarumma. Special goal.
I remember him scoring. Do you remember the 3-3 draw here between the sides a couple of seasons ago? Valverde scored a brilliant goal in that match. Well, tonight he's got 3 of them.
Like I said earlier, he's a special player, sometimes goes under the radar, but you don't stay at Real Madrid since 2016 with the amount of managers that he's played under, unless you've got something about you.
It's 3-0 to Real Madrid.
we won't be coming back to Madrid, me and you again, you know that, don't you?
Well, what was the score at half-time last night? It was 4-1, wasn't it? 4-1 at half-time last night over in the Metropolitano. And now the mood is absolutely transformed inside this stadium. Looking out of our little glass box here, we've got the media benches in the outside in front of us. So there's 4 media benches that run all the way the width of the stand. They're absolutely packed. You know, this is big box office, Real Madrid and Manchester City. And then in front of them, the Real Madrid fans who, as I look down at them now, hundreds of them are twirling their Real Madrid scarves above their heads. Some of them have actually got the Spanish flag and they're twirling the Spanish flags above their heads. And in the area behind the goal, where they all sit with the white shirts on, behind the goal that Courtois is defending, they've got the Real Madrid purple and white flags as well in there, the sort of Royal of Real Madrid. 3-0, what a night they're having, and the best night so far in the job, you would have to think, for Alvaro Arbeloa, the former Liverpool man, and briefly West Ham as well, in charge until the end of the season. So 3-0 in added time, 1 minute of added time to play. Manchester City, now their need is actually becoming desperate to get a goal, to find a goal, to get back into the tie.
He wants half-time. Pep needs to get his team in there. He's down there deep in discussion with one of his coaches that we can see. They need to do something different, Manchester City. They started the game so well, they were having so much joy in the wide areas, but from that first goal that Real Madrid have got, they've just grown in stature in the game.
Manchester City losing here in Madrid, 3-0. Chelsea losing in Paris, 2-1 to PSG. And Maz Farouki keeping an eye on Bodo Glimt against Sporting.
Well, Ole Blomberg has made it 2-0 to Bodo as it stands. There is a VAR goal check going on at the moment. It was a lovely finish from the left of the area, just inside the right-hand post. I think it's just been given. So into first half stoppage time, Bodo 2, Sporting 0.
The old Buda Glimt super play on the artificial pitch strikes again. And if they get a 2-goal lead to take to Lisbon next week, then we could be talking quarter-finals for Buda Glimt, and we could well be talking quarter-finals for Real Madrid and not Manchester City, because the whistle goes here inside the Bernabeu, and it's the Real Madrid fans who are on their feet applauding. They're applauding their team, but they are also applauding their brilliant Uruguayan captain, Federico Valverde. Fede Valverde, they call him. Well, he has scored a super hat-trick, and listen to this. It is a jubilant Bernabeu as the players leave the pitch. Vinicius is waving up to the stands, so's Brahim Diaz, Arda Güler as well, and they've come off, look as though they've already won it.
I can't believe what I've seen, John, in all honesty. When we talked in the build-up about this game, about the opportunity that Manchester City have here tonight, the players that Real Madrid are missing, you look at the quality that Manchester City exploited in the first 10-15 minutes of this game, you wouldn't think that they've gone in 3-0 down. Real Madrid have had 4 shots on target and scored 3 goals. They've been clinical, they've been decisive, and Manchester City now, they've got a mountain to climb.
Yep, that's it. That absolutely lays it right on the line. And those Real Madrid fans in front of us, so many smiling faces down there. They're all taking selfies of one another as well. 3-0 up at half-time against Manchester City. And City simply have to find a way back.
We'll be back with you guys in just a second, but it's also half-time in the Parc des Princes. Chris Coles.
Paris Saint-Germain 2, Chelsea 1, an extremely good watch, and Chelsea by and large have played well, but 2 of PSG stars have the holders in front. Bradley Barcola crashing in off the bar from 8 yards after a cushioned João Neves header, that to give PSG the lead. Chelsea though responded, Neto and João Pedro both going close before an unlikely equaliser from Malo Gusto. Fernandes found him on the right of the area, Gusto fired under the keeper. Palmer then had a wonderful chance to put Chelsea in front. Safonov made a good save, and from that save, PSG right up the other end. Dembele races through, twisting, turning, finishing into the corner. A blistering counter-attack to give Paris Saint-Germain a 2-1 half-time lead over Chelsea.
Meanwhile in Madrid, Paul Robinson, it doesn't matter how many seasons go by, I feel like we all just get lulled into this back end of the season Real Madrid malaise, which always seems to end when the Champions League gets to its business end.
Well, there's not a lot of good coming out of Real Madrid at the moment. We talked to the Spanish journalist before the game to try and get some kind of feeling of what's going on at the club, you know, the amount of players that they've got missing. And we built this game up, and I genuinely came into this game tonight with a belief that Manchester City would swipe them aside. I felt, you know, if this was Manchester City 3-0 up at half-time, I could completely understand that, the way that they played, the way they approached the game, the players that Real Madrid have got missing. This is an opportunity for Manchester City tonight to put this tie to bed, whereas Real Madrid have taken that opportunity. They've got a mountain to climb now, Manchester City. They've got a real problem.
I could talk to you, John, about Federico Valverde all night, because he's just one of those players, isn't he? Look, he's not a goal scorer. This isn't his job. He scored as many goals in that 45 minutes as his other 40 games this season combined. But when he does stuff like this, it just opens up the discussion into a player who is so essential to everything Real Madrid do.
We've talked about him so many times over the years, and he is one of those players. I find that you do have players sometimes, whenever I see him, whenever I come here and see Real Madrid, he always seems to play well. He's a high-quality player and can operate. You know, he's kind of unstarry, isn't he? Because if you are talking about Real Madrid's main men, he'll never be mentioned, or he'll be mentioned way down the order. Well, tonight he's the top of the bill.
He's their modern-day Casemiro, I think, Paul.
Yeah, you could say that. And by the way, he's still only 27 years of age. You know, when you look at him and you look at his experience at international level, he's got 71 caps for Uruguay. But as I'll repeat what I said in commentary, you don't stay at a club like Real Madrid for the amount of time that he has done unless you've got something and you're a little bit special, both on and off the field. The personality, the character that you've got in the dressing room, but you also have to contribute regularly on the field, which he does. He's an incredible player.
Astonishing first half performance from him. John Paul, thank you for the time being. So obviously we're back inside the Bernabeu for second half commentary. Real Madrid 3, Federico Valverde 3, Manchester City 0 at half-time, PSG 2, Chelsea 1 at half-time, and it's now half-time in Norway. Bodø/Glimt Sporting, Maz Farouki.
Yeah, really entertaining and open game, this one, Steve. One that took Bodo a little bit of time to warm to in what aren't too chilly conditions in the Arctic Circle tonight. But 30 minutes in, it opened up for them. A foul on Sondre Blunstedt Fate just inside the Sporting area. He got up, took the penalty himself, sent the keeper the wrong way. Ole Blomberg then adding a second in first half stoppage time. There's a long way to go yet, but the team with the storyline in Europe this season lead in their last 16 first leg tie. Bodo 2, Sporting 0.
It is starting to feel like Coventry City could be marching back to the Premier League. Julia Bold.
It's Coventry 2, Preston 0, and yeah, the league leaders have been impressive. The first goal, Sakamoto with his left foot saw his shot slice through the Preston defence, though the Coventry player was credited here. Replays show the ball took a wicked deflection off Ben Whiteman. Daniel Iverson saw it late and the ball bounced past him into the back of the net. Then Brandon Thomas Asante doubling that lead. Matt Grimes putting in a good corner. Bit of a scramble in the box. Saw Ellis Sims attempt an overhead kick. Iverson looked to have palmed it away. Thomas Asante, though, poked in the rebound. Preston have spent 45 minutes weathering a storm that shows no sign of stopping. Coventry 2, Preston 0.
As it stands then, Coventry are going 7 points clear of Middlesbrough at the top of the table, and just as importantly, 9 points clear of Millwall in third. Borough 0, Charlton 0 is a live score at the start of the second half. Other games into the second halves: Birmingham 1, QPR 0, Norwich 0, Sheffield United 1, Oxford United 1, Blackburn 0. The other half time is West Brom 1, Southampton 0. In League 1 into the second half, Port Vale 0, Bradford City 1, and AFC Wimbledon 1, Blackpool 0. You are up to date, and Stuart Clarkson's got the news.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Steve, thank you. The government's accepted its due diligence fell short during the appointment of Lord Mandelson as the UK's ambassador to the US. Documents released by ministers show that Keir Starmer was warned that his links to Jeffrey Epstein posed a general reputational risk. The papers also revealed that Lord Mandelson was given a payout of £75,000 when he left the civil service. Iran has launched more attacks on targets across the Middle East. Oman says several fuel tankers were hit in the port of Salalah, while 3 commercial ships were struck by projectiles in the Persian Gulf. The UN Security Council tonight has backed a resolution that condemns Iran for launching attacks on neighbouring countries. The proposal was put forward by Gulf states and does not mention the airstrikes carried out by the US and Israel on Iran. The resolution calls for an immediate end to Iranian attacks and condemns attempts by Tehran to block the Strait of Hormuz. And a number of tourist attractions, including Chester Zoo and Edinburgh Zoo, have called for changes to the way weather apps summarise the day's forecast with a single icon. They say the use of a rain cloud can lead to a 30% drop in customer numbers, even when much of the day is expected to be dry.
6 Music.
Devote your mornings to music. Nick Grimshaw. Let 6 Music deliver us from grey skies with the best sounds in the world. And grace us with some incredible artists. Seema is with us this morning.
It is my favourite record of mine. It's a banger.
As we ascend into the day ahead with music beyond the mainstream. Nick Grimshaw
On BBC
Radio 6 Music. Just say, play 6 Music. This is 5 Live Sports, the Champions League with Steve Crossman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
AFC Wimbledon have just scored a second. They now lead Blackpool by 2-0 in League 1. In the Champions League half-times, Real Madrid 3, Manchester City 0, Paris Saint-Germain 2, Chelsea 1, and Bodø/Glimt 2, Sporting Lisbon 0. We'll be back to the Bernabeu for second half commentary shortly. Already today, Arsenal needed a late penalty to draw 1-1 with Bayer Leverkusen in the Bundesliga? In the Champions League against the Bundesliga side. Kai Havertz got the goal. Here's Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta.
So the game had different phases. Some in the first half where we were very dominant, and we had a big chance with Gavi to put a 1-0, and when you miss those chances, obviously the game can change. Then after that, we didn't finish enough actions. I mean, every time we got in and around the box, we gave the ball away, and that allows certain counter-attacks, very unlike us. And without really conceding nothing, we needed to solve certain things. We discussed that at half-time, and we expected to start very fast, especially because we knew certain routines that they have on kickoffs, because they had 3 at the weekend, and still we get caught. We're not ready enough. We concede a chance on the header, and after that we concede the goal. So when you give that hope and an advantage to the opponent, at that level they're going to take it, and then we have to really dig in, because emotionally it becomes a very different challenge. And we had 10-15 minutes that we didn't really have enough threat and enough understanding of how we have to attack that block. But in the last 20 minutes, 25 with the changes, I think it was much better. And at the end we find a way to score the goal and draw the game.
Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta. Golf next. The Players' Championship gets underway at Sawgrass tomorrow. There are lots of questions about the fitness of Rory McIlroy. He's been out on the range, and Ian Carter, you've been watching him.
Yes, he has been out on the range, and he managed to hit wedges. He went all the way down to 6 irons, not hitting any of the big clubs. He's just spoken to us. He says it's an hour-by-hour situation, but things are improving, and he's got the best part of 20 hours before he has to tee off, so he is going to leave it until the last moment before deciding. He said it's an hour-by-hour situation, probably a game-time decision, but all indications are pointing to the right direction. So hopefully he'll get a good night tonight. He said the drugs are working wonders, and then it's just keep it going from there. He's, as I say, hit balls on the range. He's now going to walk around 9 holes with a wedge and a putter to get a feel for the areas around the greens. No great exertion, and it looks like he's going to be giving it a go tomorrow, and he might get an extra period of rest as well, because the weather forecast is very uncertain for tomorrow afternoon, so that might help as well.
Thank you, Ian. That's our correspondent Ian Carter. Rounds 3 and 4 over the weekend. You'll get commentary as well on BBC Sounds. Cam Norrie has made the quarterfinals at the tennis at Indian Wells. He beat qualifier Rinky Hijikata in straight sets. Let's speak to tennis correspondent Russell Fuller. He loves it there at Indian Wells. That's a big win for him.
He does. 2021 champion, broke in the first game of the match, won the last 5 games as he beat the qualifier 6-4, 6-2. Could face Carlos Alcaraz now, Steve, in the quarterfinals tomorrow. Alcaraz has got to play Casper Ruud later, and he was telling me that this Indian Wells campaign was kick-started by a 3-hour, 20-minute practice session with Yannick Sinner that went on longer than expected. Sinner was telling Norrie, "This is too much fun." It was 35-degree heat at the time. "I'll cancel my photo shoot. You put off your publicity gig that you've got to do after this, and let's play on," which they did.
Great match for Jack Draper later. He's facing Novak Djokovic. Let's hear from Draper.
Anyone who's sort of in the game and knows tennis know that what he's done in the sport and what he's still doing is mind-blowing. An incredible champion, someone I have massive respect for. Watched him play Andy in many, many finals when I was younger, and just to play him in tournaments and to get that chance because he's still going is something I don't take lightly. I'm very grateful for.
What sort of shape is Draper in at the minute then, Russell?
It's match number 6 of his comeback, Steve, so he's not physically where he wants to be, and that match sharpness is quite where he wants to be. Novak Djokovic had that run to the Australian Open final, hasn't played since, has looked a little bit scratchy in the first couple of rounds, but he's got more matches under his belt, and Djokovic says that he very much is playing with the fire, the flair, the quality and the motivation, and he was talking last week about maybe going on to the LA Olympics of 2028 once again.
Just on Draper then, when you're looking at these top players trying to get back to their best, how much are you expecting to see at this stage? Because it is clearly still very early in that return.
Yes, even though he managed to do a lot of training when he was off with the bone bruising in his arm, because it allowed him to work on other aspects of his game, and he was certainly working very, very hard in the gym on his fitness. Any player will tell you that you just cannot replicate that match situation, and therefore it does take a number of matches. This is match number 6. I don't really think we'll probably see Jack Draper at his best before the summer, in all honesty, but that doesn't mean he couldn't beat Novak Djokovic tonight.
Also a great match for Sonia Kartel later.
Yes, she has had back pain for the last couple of rounds, but it's not stopped her beating two seeded players in Emma Navarro and Madison Keys, last year's Australian Open champion. Well, today the challenge gets even tougher from about 11 o'clock this evening, because she's up against this year's Australian Open champion, the third seed, Elena Rybakina. And when she's at her best, she's virtually unplayable, as even Aryna Sabalenka found out in the final in Melbourne a few weeks ago.
Russell, thank you very much. That's our tennis correspondent, Russell Fuller. A massive goal has gone in the championship promotion race. It's at the Riverside, the game between Middlesbrough and Charlton. Rob Lowe.
And Middlesbrough's push for an automatic promotion places just hit a speed bump. Steve, Charlton against the run of play, a long throw into the box, and Connor Cody on hand to prod the ball home. A huge goal at the top of the championship. It's Middlesbrough 0, it's Charlton 1.
Right, if it stays like that, then Coventry, who are currently 2-0 up in their game against Preston, will move on to 77 points. Borough will have 69 and Millwall just one behind on 68. We are ready to go in the Bernabeu for second half commentary of Real Madrid Manchester City with Paul Robinson and John Murray.
And both managers have made a change at the break. Alvaro Arbeloa has changed his left back. He's brought Fran Garcia on for Ferland Mendy. And Pep Guardiola, as the whistle goes for the start of the second half, Real Madrid kick off leading by 3-0. Tijjani Reinders has come on, Paul Robinson, and Savinho is off. So clearly he feels that he needs more in central midfield.
I think that's where they've been overpowered, if you like. Rodri's sat at the base of that central midfield area, but the turnover of possession for Manchester City, it's been too quick. The game's passed them by. They've not been exciting, Real Madrid. They've not played in a certain way where you go, wow, Real Madrid are 3-0 up in this game. You go, they've had 4 shots on goal and scored 3 goals. They've been very, very effective and clinical when they've had the opportunities to.
So that is the voice of Paul Robinson, England goalkeeper, with us here in our commentary box, high up in the Bernabeu Stadium, after an astonishing first half, really. After Manchester City were much the better team in the first 20 minutes, but then Real Madrid took over, and more specifically, Federico Valverde took over, scoring a hat-trick, and a brilliantly taken hat-trick it was, with goals in the 20th, 27th and 42nd minutes. And Manchester City are facing what would be, this level of scoreline, their biggest defeat of the season, and a huge turnaround job at the Etihad next Tuesday night. So it is Manchester City who first of all need a goal. Semenyo now playing very much on the right-hand side, with Semenyo having gone off, crosses the ball in, but it's blocked on the edge of the penalty area. And of course the harder that Manchester City will push and try for a goal back, that will leave space. And now it's been run to the edge of the penalty area by Diaz, who shoots it, saved. Vinicius is very nearly there. It's parried out by Donnarumma. I thought it was going to fall to Vinicius, who would have surely made it 4-0, but Manchester City were just able to scramble it away.
It's an incredible block by Ruben Diaz, it really is. It's a last-ditched attempt to put his body in front of the ball. It's a great block, super play down the right-hand side from Bram Diaz again, cuts inside, gets his shot away. Good save from Donnarumma. Just as you think Vinicius Junior is going to tap it into an empty net, there's Ruben Diaz. That is a super-duper block.
I'll run you through the teams when we get a chance. Listeners to BBC Radio Manchester are with us as well on 5 Live, so welcome back to you. And Doku goes for a dart to the byline and wins a corner off Trent Alexander-Arnold. So Real Madrid now with Courtois, the goalkeeper, Alexander-Arnold, Howson, Rudiger and Fran Garcia, the substitute, Tchouameni with Valverde and the 18-year-old pit arch in midfield, then Brahim Diaz, former Manchester City man, on the right, Vinicius Junior on the left, and Arda Güler through the middle. Run you through the City team after this corner, which is to be taken from the far side. The City left, it's Reinders who's going to take it, the newly arrived substitute. It's into the back post, and a chance is put wide by O'Reilly arriving on it. Courtois stretched for it. I thought from this angle he was going to be able to get contact on it. He didn't, and O'Reilly arriving at the back post couldn't direct it on target. And I wonder whether, even if he'd been able to put it into the net, whether that might have been disallowed for Haaland's challenge on Courtois.
Well, that was a real chance. That was a really good chance for Manchester City. It's a simple set play for all the intricacy that we see and all the movement in the 18-yard box and the 6-yard box to put the goalkeeper off. The delivery was excellent. O'Reilly arriving late at the far post. I think he was surprised that the ball came to him. He kind of stood with his legs together, let the ball hit him, and it went wide. That was a chance. It was an empty net. Courtois came out, completely misjudged the flight of the ball, and there was an empty net there for O'Reilly. Should he have taken it?
Real Madrid leading Manchester City by 3-0. Yes, you've just switched on 3-0. And Manchester City, who went out to Real Madrid last season in the playoff knockout round. In fact, Manchester City have gone out to Real Madrid in 3 of the last 4 seasons. Chelsea are losing 2-1 in Paris against PSG. Buda Glimt winning 2-0 against Sporting. I'll run you through all of the scores in the Championship as well, which are well underway in the